here, so I don't want you to fall down that hill.
Won't lose anybody.
I don't want you to fall down that hill. No, you don't.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this fantastic event. We're going to be getting some funding from upper levels of government, so it's always a good day when that happens. I'd like to make the land acknowledgement. We're honored and grateful to be gathering on the treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Haudenosaunee, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Welland today. We stand with these people. Thank you. So, have some people to introduce. I guess I'll do that first. And thank them all for coming. We have Jennifer O'Connell, Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs, Infrastructure and Communities, on behalf of the Honourable Dominic LeBlanc, Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs. We have Vance Badaway, Parliamentary Secretary to Minister of Indigenous Services and Member of Parliament for Niagara Centre. Vance, welcome. Chris Biddle, Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Canadian Heritage and Member of Parliament for St. Catharines. Chris, welcome to Welland.
Always a pleasure.
Nice to have you here. Good, yeah, it's been great. Honourable Kinga Surma, Minister of Infrastructure and Member of Provincial Parliament, Etobicoke Centre. Welcome, thank you for coming. And I've got Councillor Jim LaRouche, Welland Councillor Jim LaRouche, and Councillor Adam Moot with us as well. Here, and we have Fraser Moat with us, Recreation and Culture Coordinator, City Welland. He's directing us where we're supposed to stand and what we're supposed to be doing. So without further ado, I would like to invite Jennifer O'Connell, Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs, Infrastructure and Communities, to provide remarks on behalf of the Government of Canada.
Hi everyone, thank you so much. So windy hair day, so hopefully let's get this settled. Thank you so much everyone for being here. It's my absolute pleasure to be joining you. And I'd like to again thank Mayor Campion for having me and for that introduction. I'd also like to begin by acknowledging the land that we are gathered on, the traditional unceded territory of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Chippewa, and Haudenosaunee peoples. It's wonderful to be here and to be here for this important announcement for benefiting all residents across Ontario. And I know Minister LeBlanc would have really enjoyed to be here with all of you, but I appreciate being here on his behalf. Our government remains on building a brighter future, a more prosperous, more resilient, and more sustainable Canada for our children and grandchildren. As we continue this work, we are furthering our investments in the infrastructure that builds healthy and strong communities, from roads, community centers, to public transit, and water and wastewater systems. These infrastructure investments make a real difference in the lives of Canadians. That's why I'm excited to share with you that our government is investing more than $190.2 million to support water infrastructure improvement projects in 144 towns, cities, First Nations across Ontario through the Green Infrastructure stream of the Investing in Canada infrastructure program. Among the 144 projects we're announcing today, there are projects. Apologies, this wind is fighting with me. There are projects here in Havelock, Belmont, Methuen, Kingsville, and in the Ojibways of the Onamagang, apologies, First Nation, and of course right here in Welland. Through these 4 projects alone, thousands of meters of water mains will be replaced along several community roads, improving water transmission infrastructure, which will provide residents with increased and reliable access to potable water. Once completed, these projects will help build a more prosperous, greener, and brighter future for our residents by improving access to reliable, clean drinking water, reducing water-related maintenance and operating costs for local governments and residents, supporting community development and growth. Today's investments also include over $30.4 million in federal funding for 9 First Nations communities. With more reliable and modern water infrastructure, our government is ensuring these communities can keep growing for years to come. And on a personal note, and I was speaking to Vance earlier, I spent nearly 10 years in municipal government, and I know that wastewater projects and water improvement projects tend to be some of the unsexy projects in infrastructure, but they really are the lifeblood of our communities. And I'm really proud to hear the work that you all have been doing. Vance was telling me how the mayor and council have worked really hard to revitalize the downtown, revitalize these projects, because it's going to allow for growth, it's going to allow for investments in our economy, and it's going to keep costs low for residents and taxpayers through investments like this with the federal government and our partners in the province. So I really appreciate, Minister, you being here with us today, and that we could partner to help communities like this. And thank you for the leadership of both MP Chris Biddle, MP Vance Badaway, for the work they've done with local councils to highlight to us the important projects that really need funding and ways that we can help make the investments that really matter to communities like Welland. So thank you all so much for having me, and I appreciate that we can make this important announcement together. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Well, thank you for those words, and you hit kind of a button there with me. We spend millions and millions of dollars, and then we just bury it, so nobody gets to see it. So thank you for your comments. I would like to now invite the Honourable Kinga Surma, Minister of Infrastructure and Member of Provincial Parliament for Togo Centre, to provide remarks on behalf of the Government of Ontario.
Thank you very much. I'm thrilled to be here in Dane City today with Jennifer O'Connell, Parliamentary Secretary to Canada's Minister of Government Affairs, local MPs, and I'm also here on behalf of Sam Oosterhoff, who would have loved to be here but is tied up in the legislature. Today's investment comes at a time when Dane City and its neighboring communities need it most. Just last summer, Dane City experienced significant unexpected flooding after heavy rainfall with more than 108 millimeters within a 14-hour period. The impacts were devastating. I've been told that it was the equivalent to a 1-in-a-50-year storm. Dozens of residents were impacted, basements were flooded with sewage, and homes across the community were damaged. Many of us think about roads, bridges, hospitals, and schools when we think about infrastructure. But as the residents of Dane City know all too well, water infrastructure projects are just as important. Today, I'm happy to say that we are continuing to protect the health and safety and well-being of our communities while building Ontario by committing $140 million in provincial funding for 144 drinking water infrastructure projects across the province. And this includes investments to improve and modernize the local water infrastructure in Dane City. Our investment will support the installation of a new water main along Canal Bank Road, 7 new hydrant sets, additional valves and connections, and it will help restore impacted roads and curbs. Families in Dane City will now have better access to clean drinking water and can rest easier with new, improved, and more reliable water infrastructure. This investment through the Investing in Canada infrastructure program will also help address the immediate and critical need for reliable drinking water in communities beyond Dane City. These 144 projects will impact communities across our entire province. For example, today's investment will support the replacement of over 4,000 meters of water main along the 9 community roads in the Ojibways of Onagaming First Nation. It will also support upgrades to the fire pump in the local water treatment plant. In North Middlesex, residents can look forward to a rehabilitated water distribution system on Park Hill Main Street and upgrades to local water treatment plant. Our investment will also support the construction of an elevated water tower and new foundation elevated tank in Prescott. improvements to the water treatment plant in Lindsay, the replacement of water mains in 6 streets in Renfrew, and upgrades to the Laval Street water treatment facility to improve the filtration system, circulation pumps, and more in Castleman. And these examples are just a few of many that will bring long-lasting benefits to communities across our province. Because today in Ontario, no one should be without water infrastructure they can rely on. In addition to protecting health and safety, investing in infrastructure is also a key component of Ontario's economic growth. In fact, over the next 10 years, our government is investing more than $148 billion to build hospitals, 2 new hospitals in the region of Niagara, long-term care homes, public transit, and other critical infrastructure projects that families depend on to care for their loved ones, put food on their tables, and get to where they need to go quickly and safely. And we are committed to continue working with our federal and municipal partners to building Ontario through joint funding programs just like this one. Whether our government is investing in water and wastewater projects, or medical treatment centers, or updating and repairing roads and bridges, or expanding access to high-speed internet, we're committed to supporting critical infrastructure projects so that everyone has access to the services and infrastructure they need to be safe, healthy, and successful as we continue to build Ontario together. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Minister Surma. And it's now my pleasure to invite Vance Badaway, Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Indigenous Services and Member of Parliament for Niagara Centre, to provide remarks. Welcome back.
Well, thank you, Mayor Campion. It is once again a pleasure to be back home here in the city of Welland. And I want to thank many of you and, of course, our guests here today for coming out today and sharing in this great news here for not only Welland but the entire Niagara region. If I can as well take a moment, as everyone else has this morning, or this afternoon I should say, to recognize the lands of which we gather on today, being the lands of Treaty 381, the Niagara Purchase, and it is the traditional unceded territory of both the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and as well to our neighboring communities, the Ojibwe and Chippewa. These peoples have been a part of this community and the many communities that neighbor us for many years and still are here today. And to give that recognition as well as that respect for what we have today as well as what we're going to have well into the future is most appropriate, and I hope we all share in that. Our government remains focused on building a brighter future for our communities and for the people that reside in each and every community throughout both the province of Ontario and throughout this great country. A more prosperous, a more resilient, and more sustainable Canada for our children and our grandchildren. That is why we continue to take strong climate action, make life more affordable, grow our economy, and create good middle-class jobs across the country. That is why I am particularly happy to be here with each and every one of you today for this exciting announcement. An announcement which will make a difference for the people across the province of Ontario, as well as here throughout the Niagara region. All 144 of these projects announced today focus on improving water infrastructure within communities across the province, and once again to help with the growth plans of each community. And as P.S. O'Connell mentioned, this includes 9 First Nations communities throughout the province of Ontario. The availability of reliable water distribution, as well as wastewater infrastructure, contributes to the health of our communities. Today's announcement will go a long way to improve access to clean drinking water for these communities, as well as the future and the growth of the communities with respect to, as Jen mentioned, something that may not be as appealing as announcing the new recreation center or the new park, but equally as important because it helps in the growth of our communities. And today's announcement builds on the investments we're making across the region, across the province, and across the country, announcements that many of you are a part of. For example, right here in the city of Welland, I was proud to announce the construction of a new 124-meter bridge over the Welland Canal at the site of the former Forks Road lift bridge. And I know, Councillor LaRouche, that being your ward, It's near and dear to your heart and well overdue, I can imagine. I have to say this, and Jen mentioned this as a former municipal representative back in your day, Jen, and about my day as a former mayor of a community to the south of here. You know, these investments are very important, and particularly to the city of Welland, important because of what's happening with respect to growth here in South Niagara, in the southern part of Niagara. A lot of housing is happening here in Welland. A lot of commercial retail activity is happening here in Welland and the south part of the region. And that just can't happen if we don't have the infrastructure to support that growth. We need the capacity for water, wastewater, the treatment, regional responsibility, distribution, municipal responsibility. And if we don't have that, that growth cannot happen. And to do the growth, it happens one of two ways, one of three ways actually. One, it doesn't happen. Two, it happens and ends up on the capital fixed charge on your water bill, therefore your water bills are going up. Or three, levels of government work together, this being the federal, the municipal, and the provincial, work together to alleviate that financial burden, in this case on water bills, and in some cases even property tax bills. Very important to alleviate that financial burden on our residents, while at the same time getting the work done and allowing for that growth to happen, in particular in this part of the region. And it aligns with the projects that are happening. Look around you and here in the city of Welland. Look at the housing growth that they're experiencing. It's a boom right now in the city of Welland with new homes being built. It's a boom here in the city of Welland with the commercial and the retail activity happening, the growth. And of course, working with their neighboring municipalities in Pelham, Waynflete, Port Colborne, and in Fort Erie, and that growth is happening because of that partnership that's happening between the province, the feds, and the municipalities. And lastly, I'll say this to each and every one of the people that are standing behind me now, is thank you. Thank you for that partnership. Putting partisan politics aside, putting levels of government aside, and concentrating on the business of government versus the business of politics. And that's what we're doing successfully at all levels of government. And I congratulate and I thank all of you for that. Because at the end of the day, we're here for the same reason. And that is to work on behalf of and to the benefit of the communities that we represent. And today, that's happening. And I want to say to the mayor and council, congratulations. And to the rest of our partners, thank you for allowing us to grow in this part of the Niagara region and also to grow this province of Ontario. I thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Vance. And now I'm going to call upon Chris Biddle, Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Canadian Heritage and Member of Parliament for St. Catharines.
One set of applause. Thank you so much to whoever that was. That was, no, that wasn't, no pity applause, please. As I'm looking out beyond the camera and I'm seeing that everyone's cold, I will make one commitment that I will be brief. I think that's fair. But my pages are sticking together. Anyway, early on after my election in 2015, I was talking with a Niagara mayor, and we were talking about our government's commitment to improving water and wastewater, and we talked about like what Jennifer said in terms of it not being a sexy announcement and not being able to cut the ribbon as politicians like to do in front of new buildings. And the mayor said, Chris, if you bring the money that your government's committed, we'll let you get in the hole and cut the ribbon. So I'm not asking for that, Frank, but I still appreciate the introduction. Yeah, Frank will still make it happen. I appreciate that. Working behind the scenes, water distribution systems have a major impact on our daily lives. Having the ability to turn on the tap and trust that clean, drinkable water will come up helped build a productive, innovative country that we know today. Investing in water mains, valves, pipes, pumps, treatment facilities, and sewers is an important way that we ensure communities remain healthy and continue to prosper and grow. As we emerge in the pandemic, our government is focused on priorities Canadians expect us to deliver on, making life more affordable, creating jobs, growing the economy, and ensuring a clean future for everyone. Today's announcement supporting 144 water infrastructure improvement projects will benefit thousands of Ontario residents across the country and ensure residents have access to clean and reliable drinking water. We will continue to work with provincial, territorial, municipal, and Indigenous partners to ensure that we make communities, to ensure that communities have access to safe water infrastructure that they need. I'd like to thank my colleagues who are here today. One that wasn't mentioned, I spoke with him this morning, who is also stuck at Queen's Park. I shouldn't say stuck, who is working hard at Queen's Park, is Jeff Birch, who's a member of Provincial Parliament here in Niagara Centre, who also wanted to be here as well. So I share in their excitement of today's announcement and the investments announced today, and that will continue to benefit Ontarians and residents of Niagara for years to come. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris, and we'll certainly put you in the hole. I have my next item here is for the MC to introduce the mayor to speak, and so here I am. It has been fixed, Mr. Mowat. It's okay. I just said that. I had some prepared remarks here, which I'm not going to read because it's already been said. So maybe I'll tell you a little bit of a story first. Vance Badaway and I go way back. Vance Badaway was the mayor of Port Colborne, and I was a lowly Welland City Council at the time. But we had a lot of things in common that we were working on in the area. And one of the best days of my life, now that I'm a mayor, was when the mayor Badaway quit and became an MP. And the reason I was so happy about that is because he used to show up, come to my office, we'd meet. He never had any money. Now, when I talk to him, more often than not, he's got money or offering me ways so I can get more money. So I really appreciate the association which we've had. I also want to thank and recognize that Chris Biddle is a great friend to Welland and a great friend to Niagara. They work well together, and they keep coming back with checks, so we're really happy about that. And of course, our guests from the federal and provincial government, thank you so much, because you enable them to give us the checks. And so we're really happy to have you here as well. I will say that this project is very important to our municipality. It's going to be providing safe, reliable water to Dane City. The way Dane City is set up, it's kind of a dead end at the very end, so we need to be able to have more than one line going in, and this will help us so that we don't have to shut down the water in Dane City for hours on end. The water will continue to flow, so that's going to be very helpful. And I will read my one remark that I did write down. This multi-government partnership is an excellent example of how working together allows us to achieve so much more, so much sooner, and for so many people. And it really is a tribute to all levels of government to be able to work together. And we're all working together for one reason, and that's for the people that we represent and the people of Ontario and Canada. So I appreciate all the support that we've been getting, and continue to invite you all to come back when we start digging holes if they want to get in the hole. And I thank you all so very much for attending. And again, thank you and welcome to Welland. Now, I think I'm going back to the MC role here. So I'm going to invite members to participate in a Q&A. The speakers, moderators, media will coordinate that. But prior to that, I think we're going to do a group photo. So if you give us a chance to do a group photo, and then we'll see if there are any questions. Okay. Mr. Mowat, we're going to do media first. So who's going to be moderating that? Okay, great.
So if members of the media just want to line up behind the microphone, and it's just a reminder, one question and one follow-up. And we have no questions, so that concludes today's event.
That's why I was just going to go to photos. Everyone spoke so well and so eloquently. So, okay, so we will have a group photo.